Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're strapping in for something pretty intense. We're looking at a real whirlwind career from the late 80s adult scene, Blondie B.
Yeah, it's an amazing case study, really. Almost like extreme productivity in human form. We've pulled together extreme productivity in human form. We've pulled together biographical bits, filmographies, from places like WikiPorno, IMDb data from back then.
And these sources basically map out just 4 years, right? 1986 to 1990. That tiny window seems to hold her entire professional story.
Pretty much. So our goal here is to kind of figure out the logistics. It seems almost impossible. How does someone become an icon, cramming in over 100 movies in that short time and then just vanish, like into a totally normal life?
Okay, let's unpack this. Seriously, when you look at the sheer numbers, it's baffling. What did it really take to keep that up and basically become the epitome of the blonde bombshell almost overnight?
Well, you have to start with the volume. It's immense. She was born Majorie Miller, June 3rd, 1964, started around 22 back in 86, from Three Rivers, Michigan.
And that 4-year run, 86 to 90,
Yeah,
the final count is, what, 104 films?
104 verified features, yeah. Film or video.
I mean, 104 isn't just busy.
No.
That's almost defying how production even works, surely.
It really makes you think about the industry back then, the structure of it. The sources call her one of the most prolific on-screen sexers of the late 80s.
Okay.
Over 70 hardcore appearances just between 86 and 88.
Wow.
2 years!
Yeah. So to hit numbers like that, she couldn't have been working on just one form at a time. She was likely jumping between sets, multiple features maybe overlapping, probably lots of quick turnaround, lower budget stuff too.
Yeah.
It feels like a model built for just immediate output, high burn.
And the image, the persona, it feels very deliberate for that market. That name, Blondie B, and the variations like Blondi. It's clearly a nod to the comic strip character, right? The old radio show.
Oh, absolutely. Conscious branding.
It feels like they were aiming for that wholesome American vibe, but then twisting it. Instant recognition. Exactly. Evoking that sort of idealized American girl, but in a totally different context. And her look reinforced it. Big blue eyes, Caucasian, 5'4", around 107 pounds. Across the board, the descriptions boil down to, she looked like a Barbie doll come to life.
But, and this is interesting from the sources, that Barbie doll look wasn't how she started. It wasn't the original package. It took some pretty quick work right at the beginning.
You got it. Her measurements were listed as 35C, 2234. But the key thing is how fast she changed. Her first film, Cheerleader Academy, in 86. The accounts say she was still sporting her unenhanced boobs then.
Ah, okay, so Cheerleader Academy is like the before picture, the baseline.
Pretty much. Because the decision came fast. Right after that debut, she had surgery. It got them enhanced to be, well, truly enormous, as the sources put it. That became the defining look. That surgically crafted image was the Blondie B everyone remembers from most of her films.
So thinking about that pace again, 104 films, how much do you think that insane output was driven by needing to, pay for that transformation, recoup the costs quickly?
That's a really sharp point. I mean, in that kind of high volume, maybe lower margin part of the industry, you had to make yourself instantly marketable. Investing in that very specific, very 80s surgically enhanced look meant you had to work constantly, like immediately. Just to make the investment pay off, the look probably dictated the pace.
Right. But even with that signature look, the one she invested in, there was criticism. Sources mentioned people complaining her body looked a bit too hard or muscular at times, that she looked very athletic, and that the enhancements seemed too fake.
It kind of shows the weird contradictions of the late 80s aesthetic, doesn't it? They wanted this perfect manufactured ideal, but the reality underneath might be different, disciplined. And that observation that she seemed muscular or hard, that actually links directly to her other life.
Exactly. Because beneath that polished film image, there was this whole other thing going on. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. We talked about the volume, the need for output. But how did her personal life actually put the brakes on things professionally right at the start?
Yeah, that's the big paradox of her early work. For someone known for doing so much, she started with this major restriction. She would only do boy-girl scenes with her actual boyfriend at the time, Tony Montana.
Wow. Okay, so for a studio trying to cast a movie in 86, that must have been a huge pain.
A logistical nightmare. Can't just slot her in with any male lead. So the market adapted to keep her working, to keep that volume up. She ended up doing, as the sources say, plenty of lesbian flicks.
Ah, that makes sense. Easier to schedule, maybe cheaper for the studios if they didn't need as many male performers on contract for her scenes?
Could be, yeah. It likely streamlined things and kept her busy, kept that pace going despite the limitation.
And even with that constraint, she still worked with some major directors shaping those niche markets back then. People like Jack Remy, John Butman Staliano, Max Hardcore, Stuart Canterbury.
Listing those names is key, yeah. It shows she wasn't just doing generic stuff. Working with Staliano or Hardcore, that means she was right in the middle of those more specialized, sometimes more extreme genres that were really blowing up in the late 80s. Her credits cover everything from anal and DP to interracial and orgies. She was willing to go there just with that one big condition.
But the really wild part, the bit that explains the muscular critique, is what she was doing off-set. Between 86 and 88, her peak filming years.
This is the piece that ties it all together, I think, her parallel career. The sources confirmed she was also working as a mud wrestler at the Tropicana Club in Hollywood.
A mud wrestler. Okay, wait. So the Barbie doll come to life was literally wrestling in mud professionally at the same time she's making all these
But
films.
here's a record show. It's pretty incredible, right? You have this hyper-feminine, surgically altered image for the films, and simultaneously she's doing this physically demanding, high-impact, well, sport.
It totally explains why people thought she looked athletic or hard. She was athletic. She must have been incredibly conditioned.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about her drive, her discipline, and it clarifies that critique perfectly. She wasn't just resting between shoots. She was training, competing, recovering from mud wrestling, juggling two physically intense, full-time jobs that demanded totally different things from her body and image.
Just thinking about the energy that takes, the film volume plus professional wrestling, no wonder it was a short, intense career. That's a burnout recipe.
And this whole structure, this incredible pace, this dual life, it was all seemingly tied to one relationship.
Which leads us to the end game, the exit strategy. The sources are pretty clear. That relationship with Tony Montana ended around 1990.
Yes, and that breakup is directly cited as a primary reason she just stopped, quit porn altogether. The career that started with a limitation because of the relationship essentially ended when the relationship ended. The whole framework changed.
So she retires fast, 90, maybe 91, leaves behind the 104 films, the mud wrestling gig. What happens next? Does she just disappear then?
Not immediately, it seems. She didn't leave entertainment entirely right away. The sources say after quitting films, she shifted gears, became a successful feature dancer working around the country.
Ah, okay. So still performing, still physical, but maybe less demanding than the film production grinder.
Probably. Different kind of visibility, different schedule, different pressures.
And in the final chapter, according to everything we've found, is that complete departure, the traditional exit.
Yeah, the kind of quiet ending that actually wasn't that common for high-profile stars from that era. Multiple sources agree. She eventually settled down into married life and is apparently now residing in Arizona with 2 children, just a completely different life.
Wow. So a total break from the films, the Tropicana Club, the whole Blondi B persona.
The clean cost. Just an amazing story arc when you lay it out. 104 films, 4 years, the engineered look. The secret mud wrestler life.
Yeah.
All starting and ending around one relationship. And then, poof, Arizona, private life.
It really is remarkable, and this raises an important question. When you think about that stark contrast, between that super specific high-octane persona she built, the Barbie doll, who could also mud wrestle, and how quickly and completely she transitioned, just vanished into this quiet, private life in Arizona with a family. What does that rapid total shift tell you of the structure of the adult industry back in the late 80s?
Yeah.
Was that Hypern model almost designed for that? Intense, maybe short-lived fame, then you just reclaim your private self.
Yeah.
And maybe how unique was the kind of internal strength needed to manage those two incredibly demanding parallel lives at the same time? Something to think about.